one of the things that arose within me when I met my teacher when I was about 18 or 19 years old. And I served my teacher for almost 2 decades. In India they talk about this, this sense of like living at your teacher's feet and, serving your teacher. And what does that mean? It means that you serve the teachings. You follow your teacher. You latch on to his or her words. And you see if they're true within yourself. So that's the first way we serve our teacher, is we listen to the teachings and we follow them to the end. We don't give up on them. We don't just jump from teacher to teacher to teacher. So if you want to have an efficient relationship with your teacher, you get to know your teacher. You spend time with her. One of the things that I was very fortunate about is I was so close with my teacher. It was me and him. And I say this all the time, but I probably spent more time with him than anyone else in my life. I would spend 40 hours a week with him. He wanted a temple, so I built a temple with him. We worked side by side. On retreats, we worked side by side. He taught and I took care of everything. Now there was many other students there, many other students who came, who shared, who were of service to him. But I was the one who showed up every day with him. If you want to have a close relationship with your teacher, be in physical proximity with them. One time I had a student come to me and they told me, before I met you, Craig, I was a student of I was a student of Thich Nhat Hanh. I thought, oh great, that had to have been amazing. And basically, that meant they had read his books. And Thich Nhat Hanh has written many books, and so yes, that's one of the ways we can be a student of Thich Nhat Hanh, is we can read his books. But when you said you were a student of his, I thought that meant you lived with him. You served him. You helped him build his vision in the world. So there's this old saying in India, like when you're around the guru, it's like around being it's like being around a bonfire. It's huge. This flame is pouring with grace. It's intense heat. Intense transformation. And so if you want to have the most efficient relationship you can with your teacher, spend time with your teacher. Go on retreat with him. Hell, I did 40 plus retreats with my teacher. And on those retreats, I built the fires. I carried luggage. I fixed the plumbing. I ran up and down the hill. If he needed water, I would run down the mountain and then up the mountain with a bottle of water for him. If he said I wanted something built, I built it for him. And it wasn't like I was building it for him, the person. I was building it for his vision of truth, what he was bringing manifest in the world. And I noticed, sometimes we would talk and he would show me, just being in his presence, you'd see all the different kinds of students around him. Some would be very neurotic, some would be very needy. Always looking to the teacher. You do the work for me, teacher. You wake me up, teacher. But I never asked that of my teacher. I tried to never be needy with him. I tried to show up as an adult with him. If I had psychological work that needed to be done, and he pointed that out, I would go seek a counselor or a therapist. He would tell me something and I would work on it. He spent so much time telling me, correcting me, pointing out what I was doing wrong. I didn't take offense. Even though a lot of times it did hurt, it was humbling. Sometimes he would even publicly humiliate me to see if I would have a reaction. He'd call me a fool or an idiot at times, but I knew it was coming from love. He wasn't really attacking me. He was seeing, is there a place in my ego that's going to take it personally, that's going to get hurt by it? And so often what I saw was that within many spiritual groups, there's all these people around a teacher. And many of them are really psychologically neurotic. And they want the teacher to do the work for them. There's so many spiritually crazy individuals out there. And see, my teacher, he didn't put up with that. He said, Craig, you need to find this truth within yourself. You need to find it. He didn't let me get away with being needy, being neurotic. And so he was always offering me this reflection. And what he reflected was both my beauty, my innocence, my divinity, and also my humanity. He said, oh, look at that part of your humanity. I'd say, oh yeah, look at that. Oh, it hurts because I want to impress you. I wanted so hard to impress him. But I didn't impress him with my humanity, with my humanness. I impressed him with showing up the best I could. And when he saw my divinity, it made me smile. It made me realize my truth. It made me have faith in myself. And so I say, serve the teacher. Show up, volunteer, stack the chairs at the end. Set up. Help with the retreats. Volunteer any way you can. Ask him, do you need help? Ask her how you can serve. What can you do? Be close. Be close with your teacher. That's their job. Their job is to serve you. And if you want to awaken efficiently, you serve them. You serve their highest truth. So often when we think of service, and serving someone, you'll see a guru and they'll have all these students like grubbling at their feet. That's not really what a guru needs. What a guru wants is people around him or her that are adults. And you see those adults, they become swamis in the lineage. They become priests in the lineage. They become sages in the lineage. And so our teachers are demanding of us to become adult, to do what they did. Not to just bow before their pictures. It doesn't help the guru, it doesn't help truth on the planet to bow before the pictures. If you bow because you have an open and sincere heart, that's an act of love. It's an act of devotion. But what your teacher really wants from you is for you to live your highest. And for you to eventually not need them anymore. For you to become your own instrument of truth. Your own instrument of transmission. Your own instrument of love. And by your own, I mean God's own. Showing up, waking up, living in and as you. How can I serve? What can I do? Those were my eternal questions. How can I change? How can I grow? How can I mimic my teacher's behavior? Not in a silly way, in a truthful way. My teacher lived the truth. My question to myself eternally was, how can I live more in alignment with what my teacher is bringing forth in this world? That's a beautiful question. I can tell in your heart there's something sincere that wants to serve. It's this funny dance. When you serve your teacher, you're really serving yourself. When you serve your teacher, you're serving life. You're serving the movement of love, the movement of compassion. If it's anything else, if it's neurotic, if there's power trips, if it gets weird, don't play any of those games. It may even be time to find a new teacher if you're having those kind of experiences with your teacher. But your teacher's job is to manifest the truth. And your job as a student is to meet them in that. Then at some point, the whole teacher-student thing dissolves. And we just become this student of grace, this student of God, this instrument of truth in the world. And that's all of our works. That's all of us can aspire toward that. Every single one of us.